I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You're here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God coming to save you and your
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we talk that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
Here's a lot of men down. You dealing with the men of war. We at war. I sided with the Lord of Lords. On one and two.
Counter all your dishes, pots, pans, forks, knives.
I kind of like this. This is like a party in a hotel. You know what I mean?
This here right here is about to be holy ground. It's going to be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the grades. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
We don't give a fuck. You can see it in our faces. Got it out the mud. Straight up out the base.
Salakia, sir, your mic mute.
You know, I press it for unmute and it didn't unmute. Shalom.
Shalom.
The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, and is run today by Commanding General YAHANNA, the man with the rank and the authority to be the leader of the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans at this time. I want to say Yahweh Basham Yahushai Barakatam to the brothers, Yahweh Shama Alatan Basham Yahushai to the sisters. Welcome to our Wednesday evening law class. Topic: He that rule over Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans must be just. And being just there means you must fear the Lord. All right, now let's go to 2 Samuel 22, verse 1. We want to cover some grounds in some scriptures today.
Gunner one gun.
2 Samuel 22.
Gunner one gun. This is the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 22, verse 1. And David spake unto the Lord the words of this song in the day that the Lord had delivered him out of the hand of all his enemies and out of the hand of Saul.
All right, so David was a man who praised the Most High in songs and what we today call psalms.
God.
I suppose that's then in his time it would be like poetry. But this was his way of, leaving writings and communicating, praising, giving praise to the Most High. A lot of these psalms are also instructions and those in the latter days. But David wrote a song giving praises unto the Most High. Continue.
Another one, verse 2. And he said, the Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer.
Verse 3.
Verse 3. The God of my rock, in him will I trust. He is my shield and the horn of my salvation, my high tower and my refuge. My Savior, thou savest me from violence.
All right. So as bad as David was, David realized, David wasn't like the kind of men today who think they are bad and almighty. David knew that he was a man good with the sword, but at the same time he also knows that his strength was the Most High God of Israel. So he was giving praises unto him. In him will I trust. He is my shield and my horn and the horn of my salvation, my high tower and my refuge, my Savior, thou savest me from violence. Verse 4.
Another one, verse 4. I will call on the Lord who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from mine enemies.
Right. He will call on the Most High, and that will save him from his enemies. It's the same thing that we need to do today in our last days here. Or I will call on the Most High and trust that he will answer.
God.
All these chairs turn the other way, so turn around them. All right, continue.
Another one, verse 5. When the waves of death compassed me, the floods of ungodly men made me afraid.
The floods of ungodly men. All right. This is when, you reach a state in life where it seems as if the odds that are against you are greater than the odds that are for you. So he's saying that waves of death compass me, floods of ungodly men made him afraid. All right, continue.
Another one, verse 6. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me.
All right, go on.
Verse 7. In my distress I called upon the Lord and cried to my God, and he did hear my voice out of his temple, and my cry did enter into his ears.
Right. Now, this is the interesting part, the part that we all hope for. That when we cry unto the Most High, that our cry will enter his ears.
God.
And he will answer. That's the crux that we prayed for. Whether you're righteous or not, your cry, he will hear your cry, but will he answer? He will answer the cry of the righteous. Continue.
Another one, verse 8. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations of heaven moved and shook because he was wrath.
Continue.
Verse 9. There went up a smoke out of his nostril and fire out of his mouth, devoured. Coals were kindled by it.
All right, so this is not describing a volcano. David is describing here the strength and power of the Most High's might behind him.
Right.
when his fear comes upon him and he cries unto the Most High. Continue.
Another one can, verse 10. He bowed the heavens also and came down, and darkness was under his feet.
All right, go on.
Verse 11. And he rode upon a cherub and did fly, and he was seen upon the wings of the wind.
He was seen upon the winds. He was seen upon the wings of the wind. All right, continue.
Another one can, verse 12. And he made darkness pavilions round about him, dark waters and thick clouds of the skies.
Continue.
Verse 13. Through the brightness before him were coals of fire kindled.
Go on.
Verse 14. The Lord thundered from heaven, and the Most High uttered his voice.
All right, so all this now is David is still describing the Most High's power and strength. This is how David, this is his experience of the Most High when he is in need, or the Most High come to his aid with power and strength. Continue.
God. Another one can, verse 15. And he sent out arrows and scattered them, lightning and discomfited them.
Yeah.
Verse 16. And the channels of the sea appeared. The foundation of the world were discovered at the rebuking of the Lord, at the blast of the breath of his nostrils.
Continue.
Verse 17. He sent from above. He took me. He drew me out of many waters.
All right, so this is where now he's showing you that the strength behind him coming to his aid, and what the strength behind him do now. Read verse 18.
Another one can, verse 18. He delivered me from my strong enemy and from them that hated me, for they were too strong for me.
All right. So, you see, when he felt overcome by his enemy, like most of us feeling, even unto today here, overcome by our enemies. This was what David was describing, how the Most High was behind him, or how the Most High was for him and came to his rescue. You know, came to him with this strong, bow the heavens and come down, and you can imagine if we were still in battle, then we would fully understand and see and understand what David is describing here. When you are being cornered by your enemies, with the view to really, really kill you.
God.
Right? This is not talking about you being cornered by your enemies with their mouth and cursing you and saying all manner of things about you. This is being cornered by your enemies to kill you because they want to take your country or something like that. So David is always describing how the Most High came to his refuge. All right, go on now, verse 19.
Another one can, verse 19. They prevented me in the day of my calamity, but the Lord was my stay.
Right. The Lord was his stay, meaning that the Most High was his rescuer. Most High gave him succor. Continue.
Another one can, verse 20. He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me.
Go on.
Verse 21. The Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands, as he recompensed me.
All right. So David is not telling you that, my hands are all clean. And hands get dirty sometimes because it does do some things which the Most High will punish him for. So he's telling you that the Most High now, according to his cleanness of his hand, the Most High recompense him.
God.
Well, sometimes I wonder if our hands are so dirty today that, you know, but the Most High today is vexed with his people, you know.
God.
He intends to take us out of the jaws of our enemies now, but you know, while he intends to do that, our people is now treating the Most High like what I call it now, like going to the witchcraft man. When you're in
God.
trouble, when they're in trouble, they run to the Most High. When they get out of trouble, they remember God.
God.
This is how Israel has always been, you know. Right? When our enemies overthrow us, oh Lord, put away all at the time when you see it fit to put away all the idols, you know. Stop celebrating Christmas, stop celebrating Easter, right? Stop celebrating birthdays and all that and say, oh Lord, yes, we are fully now yours. And when the Most High get us out of the calamity that we find ourselves in, they will say, why, Christmas look pretty this year, man.
God.
Easter come on, the bun and cheese, understand? Ready to go back again because we are not in the calamity again that he rescued us for, and that is us even unto today. Continue.
Canada 1 Gun, verse 22. For I have kept the ways of the Lord, and have not wickedly departed from my God.
All right. So how would you wickedly depart from God? How can a man wickedly depart from God?
Why stop keeping his laws and start, you know what I mean, do all these idolatrous customs like Christmas, go back in a breaking the Most High laws.
All right. So
Basically.
the key word that you put there is the idolatry.
God.
Because, yeah, David committed sins, but as he said, he have not wickedly departed from his God.
God.
But he did commit sins. So, but he has not gone into idolatry. That's the ultimate crux of the matter. You know? When we leave and gone into idolatry and calling other things and other creations and other man-made things, gone into religion, man-made religion, this is when we have that. This is when we would have been wickedly departed from the Most High, and we start believe out of many one people, and we start believe when the Americans are telling about all man was created equal. All man is created equal when it's me saying that.
Right.
Now when the oppressor telling me that, when the oppressor tell me that, I know that his intention is to oppress me. Well, let me be the one telling him, so that we can oppress him like it should be. Right? That's the way the scripture said that they should serve you. But because we won't stop put other gods before our God, then we have to be serving these people. And they are harsh against you. They have no love. When we used to rule the nations, you know, we rule them with some humanity, you know. And because we rule them with humanity, you know, with some love, this little love that you show to them, this is the avenue that they use to turn around and trick you. Because you show a little love to them, and because we were made this way, to have a heart, right? And to show love. But you know, the enemy has gotten to us so much that we are now showing love to our enemies and showing the hate to our people.
God.
Yeah. That is what religion and idolatry has done unto us. Continue.
Canada 1 Gun, verse 23. For all his judgments were before me, and as for his statutes, I did not depart from them.
Right. Yeah, David telling you, he had not departed from all the days of David's life. He did not depart as others did. He did not depart from the Most High's ways. Continue.
Another one, verse 24. I was also upright before him, and have kept myself from mine iniquity.
Right. We know that he committed iniquity, but whenever time he is called out, whenever time David is called out, David is not the kind of man to say, me? No, sir. Not no, sir. He just go right into repentance mode. Continue.
Another one, verse 25. Therefore the Lord has recompensed me according to my righteousness.
Right.
According to my cleanness in his eyesight.
Right. So the Most High recompense him according to his cleanness. Or according to his cleanness. Because, all right, think of you walking on a road and, you know, you buck your toe. You stub your toe on a stone or something. And you fall down.
Okay.
And when you fall down, you're not walking again, you know, you're in getting up mode. Somebody might come to your aid and lift you up and put you back on the path. Well, that was David. So David was on that straight way to the Most High, and you know, there are times when he stubbed his toe and fell down in sin.
Okay.
But he was able to get up and not wallow in sin as the pig that they so love today would wallow in the mud. That is how most of our people is in sin today, wallowing in the sin. But you have to get out of that. You know, stop being like the pig that you love so much. Get out of the muddy sin, the miry sin, and get back up like David would do it and walk again. Because your enemies are out there. And the truth of the matter is your enemies have power over you when you are in the sin, just like the pig is in the mud.
Okay.
If you are not in the sin, those enemies have no power over you. Continue.
Another one, verse 26. With the merciful thou wilt shew thyself merciful, and with the upright man thou wilt shew thyself upright.
27.
Verse 27. With the pure thou wilt shew thyself pure, and with the froward thou wilt shew thyself unsavory.
28.
Verse 28. And the afflicted people thou wilt save, but thine eyes are upon the haughty, that thou mayest bring them down.
The afflicted people thou wilt save. Why just say afflicted people thou wilt save and just leave it at that? The afflicted people commit sins too, you know.
God.
But why it just going on to the answer now, the eyes, the Most High eyes would be upon the haughty. All right, what haughty mean? Look for haughty.
Another one. Haughty, arrogantly superior and disdainful.
So this is the man who think that he's better than you know, think him above sin, and think him above wrong. Just like the scribes and the Pharisees. They are the perfect example of haughtiness in a person. Right? Just like your pastor today. Just like many Christians today. Just like the Christian church, the Rasta man, and so on, who think that, you know, they are on the right path. So in their eyes, they are not sinning.
Okay.
So the Most High eyes is upon them. that he may bring them down, because the Most High knows that they are sinning. Continue.
Canada 1 can. Verse 29. For thou art my lamp, O Lord, and the Lord will lighten my darkness.
All right. Thou art my lamp. So the Most High is David's lamp. Why him say that now? Think of you in a dark room. You turn right around 360 degrees and you see no light. And then you see a light appear. That light now guiding you. You're going to have a tendency to move towards where the light is. So David is saying that light in his dark room is the Most High.
Okay.
Right? And that lamp in the dark room is what is taking him out of the darkness of sin. Continue.
Canada 1 can. Verse 30. For by thee I have run through a troop. By my God have I leaped over a wall.
By thee have I run through a troop. All right. So we know David was this kind of man, light-footed. When he's in battle, run through men. That's why he was called mighty men, because him swing sword and kill whole heap of men. Shoop, 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 shoop. Slay many of his enemy like that. Leap over walls and so on. So what he's describing here is actually literal. He used to run through troops and leap over wall. But he knows it is by the Most High that he's able to do that. Hence why we train in the Hebrew Academy. You know, to prepare the body for that day when the Most High. And I'm not talking about before we leave, I'm talking about while we're here. Just like in the time of the Kentucky 8 and, you know, that trip to Hakuna, them kind of preparation there that we have to do while before being saved by the Most High. Continue.
Canada 1 can. Verse 31.
I should say before being taken up. Continue.
Canada 1 can. As for God, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord is tried. He is a buckler to all them that trust in him.
What's a buckler?
Salakia. Another one gun, buckler, a small round shield held by a handle or worn on the forearm.
Right. So that is your shield in the battle. The enemy take a swing at you, swing him sword or spear. Well, the buckler is where you used to block him. Or we call it a shield. He is a buckler to them that trust in him. So this is how now, you know, we have to go into him with what we call like blind obedience. Even though it's not really as blind like how some organization would put it. But, you know, at least you have the scriptures exposed to you that you can read and learn to trust in the Most High them kind of ways here. He is the shield unto those that trust in him. So the man who don't trust in him, who is his shield? Not the Most High, somebody else. And that shield is made of something that can be broken or so. You want that true shield, the Most High have to be your shield. Continue.
Another one can, verse 33. God is my strength and power, and he maketh my way perfect.
Right, go on.
Verse 34. He maketh my feet like hind feet, and setteth me upon my high places.
All right, you make it his feet like hinds feet. What do you mean by hinds? I think the hinds have something to do with deer. Look up what hinds mean. I think it has something to do with the young deer or something like so. All right. David is saying that the Most High is his strength and his power and make it his way perfect. Or the Most High make your way perfect when you're keeping his laws. You know, today, in the last days here, you know, waiting on enough of us to start keeping his law again for him to say, all right, time to salvage my people now. You find it?
Cancer. Ein, a female deer, especially a red deer, are sicker in and after the 3rd year.
Right, so it's a young deer. Young brisky deer. Continue.
Canada one can. Verse 35. He teacheth my hand to war, so that a bow of steel is broken by mine arms.
Right, so David didn't go to no military at the academy. Moses taught him to war. When he went to and take on, what the giant did name again? Goliath.
God.
He didn't go into any military academy before he take on Goliath. So it was the Moses who taught him what to do, you know. Continue.
Canada one can. Verse 36. Thou hast also given me the shield of thy salvation, and thy gentleness has made me great.
Continue.
Verse 37. Thou hast enlarged my steps under me, so that my feet did not slip.
Right. Plant his feet properly. And he's not talking about literal sliding, but, you know, falling from not keeping the laws. That's what he's talking about. So enlarging his feet under him now that, all right. We now are in a society where it's much easier to sin than to keep the laws of the Most High. True or false?
True.
True or false? Yeah. It is much easier for you to go out there and do all the wrongs than it is. As a matter of fact, you keeping the laws, you look strange to people, don't you?
Gun.
Yeah. People see the fringe on their pants and they said, so what that mean? Right? They see in a washcraft, they say, so what that on your head for? But if you had on a suit and tie and you were well shaved, they wouldn't be saying to you, they would say, oh, you look so good. True or false?
True.
Right. So if the Most High is going to enlarge your step so that you don't slip from the law, then in David time, you know, it's the opposite of what we are experiencing today. In David time, if you shave your beard, you know, sorry, not shave a beard, you can shave a beard, but you know, the line up like whatever they teach about to do, what Esau teach you to do. If you did that in David time, you are the one who look weird. True or false?
Gun.
Right. In David time, if you were eating pork, boy, if they don't, if it is a case where they don't kill you, like you're not caught, but somebody know you'll be despised, but they're not around you. Right? If you were an idolatrous person, you were despised. If you brought before the council, you would have been killed. So enlarging your step under, you know, it would be making the way for you clear that I'm making it easier for you to keep the law. The environment you are in, the persons you are around, they are law keepers too. So all the most I enlarge our step in the I.S.U.P.K today. keeping us around our brothers. That this is what Christ meant when he talked about washing each other's feet. Right? So I make it easier for you to keep the laws. You make it easier for me to keep the laws. And all the brothers around us keeping the laws. So when we are doing lawful things, it don't look weird.
Okay.
Right? When you outside of the UPK and you say you're doing pork, or you're doing ham, you're doing crab, you're doing shrimp, you're doing lobster, you're doing smoke, then look when you're like, we're not living no life, man. But in the UPK now, when they say you don't do those things, they say, right on, brother, you're keeping the laws. Right? So the Most High within the UPK now enlarge the steps under us that we not slip in the law. Continue. Plus there is a council today. UPK have the council. You slip certain way under the law, you're called up for it. Out in the world, if you eat pork, who is going to chastise you?
Right.
If you're a sister who say you're single and you have one man out there where they say, "Chop, I'm not really my man, you know, but he can look for me sometime." You're a woman out in the world. Who's going to chastise you for that? But in the UPK, we tell you straight up, say, listen, man, that is word up. That man that you have, that's your husband. We tell you straight up. So we're enlarging the Most High set his laws, and we are re-establishing the Most High laws under the UPK for our people to not slip. Continue.
Another one, verse 38. I have pursued mine enemies and destroyed them, and turn not again until I have consumed them.
Right. So yes, because of the Most High's righteousness, he's able to gain power over his enemies. And if you notice in David's Psalms, almost all of them talk about power over his enemies. I mean, this is something where Christians love read, read the Psalms, but not knowing that in order for these, what they're reading about in the Psalms to really work, you have to be keeping the Most High's laws.
Right.
And it's not like back in Bible days where you keep the laws because you'll be punished. But today you do it from a point of conscience. Do it from the point of, I love the Most High God. I love my brother. So I will keep these laws. So when you keep these laws, this is how you gain strength over your enemies. Continue.
Another one, verse 39. And I have consumed them and wounded them, that they could not arise. Yea, they are fallen under my feet.
Continue.
Verse 40. For thou hast girded me with strength to battle. Them that rose up against me, as thou subdued under me.
All right. Now this sounds like something that we want to achieve today, don't it?
Good.
Yes, man. Those that rose up to us, up against us. Well, in the UPK, you want to experience this why you have to go to camp.
Good.
The Most High give you strength over those who come up to battle you at camp. And when I say battle, not necessarily physical battle, but it's a wrestle with you at camp and with persons who think they know the Bible, who want to lead who want to lead the sheep astray. So you have to be now the good shepherd like David, who will go and fight a lion to rescue that sheep. Continue.
Another one, verse 41. Thou hast also given me the necks of mine enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me.
Right. The most I did know. This is physical because in David time war was real. Yeah.
Gone.
Literally cut off the neck of your enemy, but David was not one who David fought against even those within Israel who rose up against him in battle. Because you have to defend your life. But more so those who of other races who keep coming against Israel. Most I delivered their heads in David and many times. Continue.
Another one gone. Verse 42. They looked, but there was none to save, even unto the Lord, but he answered them not.
Right. So this now would be you battling your people. Because who else is going to look to the Lord just like you? Your people. So they look even unto the Lord, but the Lord is not going to answer them, but he's going to answer you. Why would he answer you and not answer them? And you are both of the same bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Why would he answer you and not answer them? Huh? Anybody? Yes, yes.
Because you only defend you if you're keeping your house.
Right, because you, as in David's case, would be the one keeping the law.
God.
They are not keeping the law. So he's on your side and not their side. So this is how you get the Psalms to work for you. It's a physical thing. It's not just you getting up and read it and go to church and clap and sing and oh, you have to actually live the life. Okay? Continue.
Another one gone. Verse 43. Then did I beat them as small as the dust of the earth. I did stamp them as the mire of the street, and did spread them abroad.
Mire of the street. Mire, I think mire there means like the dirt, the mud.
Okay, good.
Dirt on the street. You know, beat them like that and scatter his enemies. Continue.
Another one gone. Verse 44. Thou also hast delivered me from the strivings of my people. Thou hast kept me to be head of the heathen. A people which I knew not shall serve me.
All right. Thou also hast delivered me from the strivings of my people. So his striving was with Israel and with the heathen. This David's battle is synonymous with our battle in the I.S.U.P.K today. We have to battle the heathen and we have to battle our people. That is all. Who is the one who is quick to throw things at you and tell you, say, you know, no sense and blah, blah, blah. It's not in the heathen, you know. It's your own people.
Good.
Striving with you. So we in the UPK today, our battle is with our people and with the heathen. Because which set of our people, those who think they know the Bible and the law. Right? And not in the law. Most of them not even profess anything about the law. They think they know the Bible. And they want to use their thinking, personal thinking,
Good.
their sick thinking to wrestle the Most High's people from you in the UPK.
Good.
While what are we setting up in the UPK? We are setting up the Most High's kingdom physically. What is a kingdom? Kingdom is ruled by rulers, and rulers
Right.
are men, right? Rulers are people. These is not. You sit down and see that the angels are going to come down here and rule set up room for you. It is we same men that you see, we same black men, who most of you have no regards for, who fell from being kings and royalties, who are going to come over you. That's the way it is. So we in the UPK have to be striving with our people and with the heathen. Continue.
Canada one can. Verse 45. Strangers shall submit themselves unto me. As soon as they hear, they shall be obedient unto me.
Right. Strangers of your people. And now this is when David start to establish himself now. And then persons start to come around him from far. They were Israelite, but they come in service unto the king. Continue.
Canada one can. Verse 46. Strangers shall fade away, and they shall be afraid out of their close places.
Their close places. Continue.
Canada one can. Verse 47. The Lord liveth, and blessed by my rock.
Blessed be my rock.
So like you blessed be my rock, and exalted be the God of the rock of my salvation.
Right. The Most High liveth, blessed is the rock that is behind David. And we know the rock of David was the Most High, was the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right? And he was the rock of David's salvation. So David spoke of salvation at a time when we knew we were Israelites. So why do people believe that salvation today is any different? Salvation just means you being rescued. That's what it means. And who needs rescuing today? The seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob needs rescuing. Of all the countries in the world, not one of them has granted succor unto us.
Right.
Boom. So why should any of them be saved, or the Most High give them any salvation with us? Right? None of them has granted succor, any form of succor unto us. None of them has said, come here so you can. We can be your hiding place. We went into Africa in hiding. They gave us up.
Right.
Right? Everywhere we go to hide, they gave us up. Continue.
Canada one can. Verse 48. It is God that avengeth me, and that bringeth down the people under me.
Right. It is the Most High that is going to bring down people under you. This is how Israel has always been. It's the Most High do it. I mean, David went out and fight, but he himself tell you that in his fighting, boy, the Most High was the strength, This fighting was the strength of my own. Continue.
Canada one can. Verse 49. And that bringeth me forth from mine enemies, thou also hast lifted me up on high above them that rose up against me. Thou hast delivered me from the violent man.
Okay, go on.
Canada one can. Verse 50. Therefore, I will give thanks unto thee, O Lord, among the heathen, and I will sing praises unto thy name.
Right. So we here right among the heathens today. They are the ones ruling over us. We have to give thanks unto the Most High God.
Good.
And we have to continue sing praises unto his name. We in the UPK, we have learned, and that's why we keep on saying, thanks to THAWADAH, to Commanding General YAHANNA, for holding the feet, holding the strength
right.
of what he had learned to pass it on to us today. When we were out there in the world, we thought we were living righteous too. Until when they come in the UPK. Right? Am I right or am I wrong?
Right.
Yeah. We thought we were living righteous. Until when they come in the UPK, you can learn what righteousness is. Right? And this is for the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's not for everybody. So we want to talk about mixed multitude and things. There won't be any mixed multitude this time.
Right.
Revelation tell you who are the ones that will be sealed. No mixed multitude, none of that. So guess what? Mixed multitude get left this time. Because mixed multitude always get us in trouble with the Most High. All right. 51.
Canada 1 can, verse 51. He is the tower of salvation for his king, and sheweth mercy to his anointed, and to David, and to his seed forevermore.
All right. He is a tower of salvation for his king. And who was his king at the time? That was David. It's only a pity that all the kings after David did not follow the chronicles of David. Or we wouldn't be in what we are in today as a people. We would still have our kingdom. But you know, THAWADAH to the Most High for Christ will re-establish the kingdom, and it will be a kingdom without end for generations and generations and millions of years to come, until when we find a way to go to other planets and start populate other planets. The kingdom on earth, the Most High's kingdom, will have no end. All right, take me to the next chapter.
Canada 1 can. Chapter 23. Now these, and verse 1. Now these be the last words of David. David, the son of Jesse, said, and the man who was raised up on high, the anointed of the God of Jacob, and the sweet psalmist of Israel said.
All right, so David now, the show said this is recorded as David's last words. But, I mean, he was on the throne after speaking this, but it was his last major words, I suppose. You know, like his last address to the nation or something like that, he would put it. But what I find interesting, you know, it is almost all the books, not even almost, you know, all the books. Well, almost. Because it's not stated in Job, but the books of the Bible, it tell you all these men, even Job, you know, even Job and what you call that book there again? Oh gosh, what's the name of the book again that tell you about the destruction of the Edomites?
Salakia.
It's just one chapter. What's the name of the book again?
Is it O.C. Salakia?
No, it's not Hosea.
No.
Obadiah.
Is it Obadiah? I tell about the destruction of Edom. That book which tell about the destruction of Edom. What's the name of it again? Obadiah.
Obadiah is one chapter.
Obadiah is one chapter. Right, Obadiah. Obadiah, in the book of Obadiah. Yeah, it's written by, it's about, it tells about the destruction of Edomites, but it's written by Israelites. So all these books, when they start, they tell about that. This is why I can't, you know, then again, THAWADAH to the 7 head priests and to Command General YAHANNA for holding holding strong onto the faith to pass it on.
God.
So that we can come to the realization of this. All these books. Look what David said in this part here. So, the anointed of the God of Jacob. So it talk about who? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Not Abraham, Isaac, and Ishmael. Or Abraham has so many other sons. They are not mentioned when it comes to scriptural writings. Right? They only mention for record that say, yeah, he did have one wife named Keturah and he may have some sons with him. But be not fools. Be not fooled, because the Edens will want to tell you. But the promise was made unto Abraham, and Father Abraham had many sons. Rubbish. We have to hold fast unto what was given unto us from the seed. We are the seed of Jacob. Right? We are some of the seed of Jacob. So we have to, and all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we have to hold fast unto what was good that was given unto us.
God.
Knowing of the scriptures, knowing that the shepherd of the Most High God can only be of the seed of Jacob. Knowing that even if he's of the seed of Jacob, you have to watch him and keeping the laws. If he's not keeping the laws, then he should not be leading you. Right? That is why we have the topic the way we have it today, because it is so. The man who is leading you must have to be just.
God.
How you be just? By fearing the Lord. All right? Just like we hear Commanding General YAHANNA always talk about that, keeping of the laws. Right, verse 2.
Another one, verse 2. The Spirit of the Lord spake by me, and his word was in my tongue. Verse 3. The God of Israel said, the rock of Israel spake to me. He that ruleth over men must be just, ruling in the fear of God.
This is a very important part that David is bringing out. He that ruleth over men, which men is he talking about? The men of Israel.
God.
Because he said the God of Israel. So he that ruleth over the men of Israel, who is also a man of Israel, he has to be a just man. He can't be a pork-eating bastard. Right. He can't be a wife-beating bastard either. Can't be
right.
Can't be a smoker. Can't be a warmonger. And warmongering in the Bible have two folds, the physical warmongering and, going after other gods. He cannot be any of those. The man who is leading over Israel have to be following the Most High's laws, just like Christ demonstrate. All right? So, I don't know where they get it from nowadays that laws are done away with.
Right.
Who came up with that? It was the oppressor. It was Eden.
God.
It wasn't the Israelites who came up with that. That came from the Eden. But they have cunningly. Then again, if somebody can give you a white Christ, which is not in the scriptures, and turn around and show in the scriptures where it says black, that Christ is black, and then you turn around and say color don't matter, then I suppose I can't expect anything from such person, ain't
Right.
Because they have the white Christ hung up in them house, and you show them in the scripture where it said, the scripture showing you that Christ is black. And they want to say, color don't matter. Such person, leave them. That's a sheep that is already gone.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And you have some Christians who are that daring to say, really black here, and that's dark. That's the dumbest thing ever.
All right. That means it is what the oppressor has done, is riveting you to hate your people so much that you despise a black Christ. You despise black rulership, even though the Bible tell you about that. Right? So when the angels come and you see them looking black, if our people was with should be with the heathens when Christ returned and they are going to fight him, they would have joined with the heathens to fight against a black Christ. But thanks be to the Most High, they won't even be given the chance to make such a decision of whether they should fight against a black Christ or not. Because the heathens despise your blackness so much that they don't have any problem fighting against a black Christ. I was watching a documentary. It was a documentary. A snippet from a documentary. And the documentary wasn't so long ago either. Majority of the Ethiopians don't consider themselves to be black, Because really and truly, they are not black,
God.
They are more copper color. So they despise blackness. I said, look at that.
God.
Very people, all people running down. Right. So the man who is ruling over Israel have to be a law keeper. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 4. And he shall be as the light of the morning, when the sun riseth, even a morning without clouds, as the tender grass springeth out of the earth, by clear shining after rain.
Content, right? So the man ruling over Israel, who is just, this is what? He shall be as the light of the morning when the sun rises. The morning without clouds. That's a clear, when I rise in the morning, I say, wow, it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining, it's warm, it's not too cold. It's not cold, but it's warm. And the sky is clear. You see the trees out there and so on. That is when a man ruling, that's the appearance of a man ruling over the Most High's people under the fear of God. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 5. Although my house be not so with God, yet he has made with me an everlasting covenant, ordered in all things, and sure, for this is all my salvation and all my desire, although he make it now to grow.
Not to grow.
Not to grow.
Right, this was David's house, because the house of David, wow. Remember the house of David, the Most High told him that sword shall not depart from your house. Since that you love the sword, that sword won't be departing from your house. All right? This is how the Most High, he's no respecter of person. So even though David was walking so close with the Most High, the God wasn't afraid to punish him when time comes. All right, continue.
Another one can. Verse 6. But the sons of Belial shall be all of them as thorns thrust away, because they cannot be taken with hands.
The sons of Belial. What I call the sons of Belial? These are wicked men. These are men who often seek to lead the Most High people away from him. One that devise evil. they refer to him in the scriptures as a son of Belial, son of wickedness. What it say, the son of Belial, what? Verse what was that?
Verse 6.
But the sons of Belial shall be all of them as thorns thrust away, because they cannot be taken with hand. So these wicked men, you can't take them with hands and go outside. You need the strength of the Most High to help to fight with you over them. So David understood what was going on. He understood the mystery of things, because it is the same way. Wicked men today, you can't fight them with them. You need the strength of the Most High with you to overcome them. Right? Most of us who might be in a work environment, wicked people over there running, what you can do about them? You can't fight them with the hands. Right? It's only prayer can get them under control. All right, that was one. 6,
Verse
7.
God. Verse 7. But the man that shall touch them must be fenced with iron and the staff of a spear, and they shall be utterly burned with fire in the same place.
Right. The man who will go with them has to be fenced with iron and the staff of a spear. So that is you being protected by the Most High God when you're going up against these sons of Belial. Why are these sons of Belial today?
Christian pastors.
Christian pastor who tell you that the laws are done away with.
God.
Who tell you that Merry Christmas, my sister. Happy New Year. Knowing that Happy New Year is idolatry. Come from the god Janus.
God.
Of which January is named after. Telling you Merry Christmas, knowing that that Christmas tree is evil. Knowing that Christmas don't have nothing to do with Christ's birth. Christmas was celebrated long. It wasn't called Christmas, but that winter solstice period was celebrated long before Christ was born. Is it them now trying to justify that celebration, put Christ in it? It has nothing to do with it. Right. So they and many of them know. But then, Christmas Day, Christmas service is one of the services where the church offering plate is at its fullest.
God.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a big society church. Security guard, I think, carry them thing go to bank one time. Them they touch Christmas Day and New Year's Day. Two biggest idolatrous time of the year.
God.
But they're not going to tell you because that is going to put a dent in their pocket. So that makes them what? The sons of Belial.
God.
So when we hear the truth going up against them, you better be girded with iron and spear and truth and all the strength of the Most High's laws. And with Christ covering you through it all. Because they are strong. Yeah, they are cunning. They are able to turn your people against you with their mouth.
God.
You have better strength than that. All right, continue.
Another one. God. Verse 8. These be the names of the mighty men whom David had. The Tachmonite that sat in the seat, chief among the captives. The same was Adino, the Eznite. He lifted up his spear against 800, whom he slew at one time.
All right, so this term, Tachmonite, was. Yeah, you have a thing there with you? The Bible dictionary with you? This one.
Which one are the word then?
Tachmonite. Look for Tachmonite. It's in the Bible dictionary. When you read the scriptures, this about David was probably about 700-800 years BC or something like that. David was from the BC period, that period of time before Christ. All right?
Slack, I'm find it, sir.
Right, and David had a cabinet, a band of men who was in service to the throne. Yeah, go on.
Another one can. Tachmonite or Tachemonite, the family of David's chief captain, who sat in the gate, are Joshe Pashobeth, the same as Jehoabim, a Hachmonite, Slakia. The text of both verses different, Slakia.
All right. So the Tachmonite, it's like you would say something like a chief of staff over the army.
Okay.
Right? All right. We know that Joab was his top general, right?
Okay.
The baddest man next to David. But in any army, you have a person who is the chief of staff over the army. He's not necessarily the baddest man of the army still, you know. But he is the political representative in the army over the army. Just like how you remember when we had Colin Powell.
Gone.
Right. Anybody's general around. Sure, there are other generals who were better than him. So this man, you know, this was a seat reserved for the person who is the chief over the captains. And if you notice, he first was named, so his office was high. Right? And you don't see Joab being named here, but Joab was said he was the captain of the host, was the captain of the army. But now this man was chief among the captains. This captains now was like a chief of staff who would have been like, because Israel was like a military rule, you know. So this chief here now would have been like probably like a chief, like a governor next to the king or something like that, next to to Joab.
Okay.
Or to the king. The only man who Joab took orders from was the king. But the king could give orders without going through Joab. You understand?
Okay.
So this now it says chief among the captains. So this man was the chief among the captains. Continue.
Another one can. Another one can. Verse 9. And after him was Eleazar, the son of Dodo, the Ahohite, Slakia, one of the three mighty men with David, when they defied the Philistines that were there gathered together to battle, and the men of Israel were gone away.
Right. You know what I mean by the men of Israel were gone away. And they run gone left you, catch them free and run gone. So David had 3 mighty men with him. So 4 of them took stand and overthrow a host of the enemy. And come back out and tell them, say, well, I want to come in like someone don't know what. Run gone left way. And I can't talk to it. So them 3 man there, yeah, them stand up with the king. And I don't talk over them 3 man there. Right, so this was how the Most High proved. But, you know, and this time is coming around again. How the Most High proved his men. He used battle. Why? Because the Most High don't want to coward around him.
Right.
Hence in the UPK here, we said no coward. Most High don't want no coward around him, man. So he used battle. Sorry, he used battle to test his people. Test their strength and their level and their level of fear. Because really and truly, the man that is serving the Most High is fearless.
God.
He fears only God. Nothing else. Sorry, go on, continue.
Another one gun, verse 10. He arose and smote the Philistine until his hand was weary, and his hand clave unto the sword. And the Lord wrought a great victory that day, and the people returned after him only to spoil.
So him one stand up and slew, what much I say, 800?
Salakia. 800 gun.
Him one stand up with him sword and slew 800 of the Philistine. Everybody run go and leave him, you know. So much so that when him done, him tired and him hand locked to the sword, cleave. You ever hold something so tight that when you to let go, your fingers can't even open.
God.
That was how much a man held on to his sword, because the Most High was with him. So this is how David know who the Most High was with him. That's why I have pure mighty men around him. Because if the Most High wasn't with him, he would have died. So in building the Most High's kingdom, you want people that you know the Most High is with. That was why David had so many mighty men around him. It's not just to say that they are, you know, bad man. It's more than that. All these men were men who the Most High was with. Continue.
Another one gun, verse 11. And after him was Shammah, the son of Agi, the Ararite. And the Philistines were gathered together into a troop, where was a piece of ground full of lentils. And the people fled from Philistines.
All right. Full of lentils. Lentils is something like peas. I'm sure that. So they fled from this one. All right. Now some of this name, like this one, the Ararite. When you look up these names most time, you know, the Bible dictionary just tell you where in the Bible they find the name, but he can't really give you, like to say, Ararite is somebody who XYZ. You know, they tell us it was named in second, something with so and so, and was one of the group of persons who was around David. All right. But this was David's rulership, really. Continue.
Another one gun. But he stood in the midst of the ground and defended it, and slew the Philistines. And the Lord wrought a great victory.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
Verse 13. And 3 of the 30 chiefs went down and came to David in the harvest time unto the cave of Adullam. and the troop of the Philistines pitched in the valley of Rephaim. Verse 14. And David was then in an old, and the garrison of the Philistines was then in Bethlehem. Verse 15. And David longed and said, oh, that one would give me drink of the water of the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate.
Go on.
Verse 16. And the three mighty men break through the host of the Philistines and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to David. Nevertheless, he would not drink thereof, but poured it out unto the Lord.
Right, so this is giving you the story of these three men, what made them mighty, and what proved unto David that the Most High was with them. They broke, David just said, why, if I could get some of that water from Bethlehem. And they went and fetched that water, slew in many. Continue.
Another one can, verse 17. And he said, be it far from me, O Lord, that I should do this. Is not this the blood of the men that went in jeopardy of their lives? Therefore, he would not drink it. These things did these three men, these three mighty men.
So they went through the host. The enemy was around that area that he was saying him longing for some of that water. And those three men went and fetched that water and brought it back to him. Continue.
Another one can, verse 18. And Abishai, the brother of Joab, the son of Uriah, was chief among three, and he lifted up his spear against 300 and slew them, and had the name among three.
Right. So he slew 300 men in one battle. Damn. These men were killers. Continue.
Another one can, verse 19. Was he not most honorable of three? Therefore he was their captain. Albeit he attained not unto the first three.
All right. So Joab's brother became a mighty man. Just like David, when David was under Saul, David became a mighty man under Saul. But because he was anointed to be king over Israel, he fell out from Saul, because Saul saw that his house was in jeopardy. Continue.
Another one can, verse 20. And Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, the son of a valiant man of Kabzeel, who had done many acts, he slew 2 lion-like men of Moab. He went down also and slew a lion in the midst of a pit in time of snow.
Continue. Continue.
Verse 21. And he slew an Egyptian, a goodly man, and the Egyptian had a spear in his hand, but he went down to him with a staff and plucked the spear out of the Egyptian's hand and slew him with his own spear.
Go on.
Verse 22. These things did Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, and had the name among 3 mighty men. Verse 23. He was more honorable than the 30, but he attained not to the first 3. And David set him over his guard. Verse 24. Asahel, the brother of Joab, was one of the 30. Elhanan, the son of Dodo of Bethlehem. Verse 25. Shammah, the Arodite. Elika, the Arodite. Verse 26. Elez, the Paltite. Ira, the son of Ikesh, the Tekoite. Verse 27, Abiezar, the Anathothite, Mebunai, the Ashathite. Verse 20,
These was either the office or where they were from. When you look in the Bible dictionary, it just tell you that these names were mentioned under David and so on and so forth. This one was a Harodite, Elikah the Harodite. He said he was paternal to the Herodian rule. So it's like this was an office. Understand?
Good.
So it's like it was an office because it explained to you that it was that these men were like precursor to the Herod, to like Herod was more of a, it would be like Herod was more of a office really than a name.
Okay.
Even though by Christ came, Herod was a name. It's as if it was in Israel before, as probably an office. All right, continue.
Another one, verse 28. Zalman, the Ahahite, Slakia, Ma'arai, the Nataphathite. Verse 29. Eleb, the son of Bana, a Netophathite. Itai, the son of Ribai, out of Gibeah, of the children of Benjamin. Verse 30. Benaiah, the Perathonite. Idai, of the brooks of Gaash. Verse 31. Abialban, the Arbathite, as Maveth, the Barhumite. Verse 32. Eliaba, the Shalbanite, of the sons of Jashen, Jonathan. Verse 33. Shammah, the Ararite, Aim, the son of Sharar, the Ararite. Verse 34. Eliphelet, the son of Ahasbai, Salakia, the son of the Markathite. Eliam, the son of Ahithophel, the Gilonite. Verse 35. Ezrai, the Carmelite. Parai, the Arbite. Verse 36. Igal, the son of Nathan, of Zoba. Panai, the Gadite. Verse 37. Zelek, the Ammonite. Naarai, the Beerothite. Armor bearer to Joab, the son of Zeruiah. Verse 38. Ira, an Ithrite. Gareb, an Ithrite. Verse 39. Uriah, the Hittite. 37 in all.
Uriah the Hittite. I want to see one who Uriah killed. But these were men who were, these were Israelites who were helping or in service to the throne when David was king. Right? They were men who proved themselves in battle. That was one way that, David used, or the king used to know who the Most High was with. You get cornered by the enemies, and you were succored by the Most High God.
Good.
You slew the enemies by the hundreds of hundreds, tens of hundreds, I should say.
Right? Yes, sir. It's the same Uriah, you know. Slakia.
Uriah the Hittite.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was a mighty man.
Yeah, man.
Slakia.
Remember, he was a battle man, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
But he was under Joab.
Okay.
Right. And he had men who was under him. That's why when he went to David, he said, nah, man, my men, them out there sleeping in the open skies and things. They're not going to go in a house to sleep. And then sleep outside like the men would be on the battlefield. Right. So Uriah wasn't a heathen.
Okay.
Uriah was a thing there. Was an Israelite in service to David. All right. Even though what king does still, you know, when you go in battle and you overthrow a nation and you take their women and children captive, those sons sometimes grow up to become service to the throne too, you know.
God.
Yeah, because it's not like they have anything else. So they say, oh, I'm going to raise a family or whatever. You came into the society as a servant. So you're going to be a servant until you die, so to speak. All right, so these were the mighty men who David used to show that, you know, God is with him. All right, wonder if we can read. Yeah, we should be able to go to the next chapter. All right, the final chapter.
Canada one gun. This is the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 24 and verse 1. And again, the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and he moved David against them to say, go, number Israel and Judah.
All right. So who was the most anger was kindled against? Us, the people.
God.
Because he was the king to say, you know, I'm going to number Israel and Judah, because he want to punish the people. God. Verse 2.
Canada one can, verse 2. For the king said to Joab, the captain of the host, which was with him, go now through all the tribes of Israel, from Dan even to Beersheba, and number ye the people, that I may know the number of the people.
Right. So it was the Most High that moved David to say, go and take up a census, so I may know how much people I have. Which in way, that was one thing that was really kind of forbidden for us. You should not number the people. You can number men among you, you know, but to say you're going to number to know how much people the most I have, it was kind of wrong. So that's why the Most High put it this way. Say he moved David so that he can get to punish Israel. Continue.
Canada one can, verse 3. And Joab said unto the king, know the Lord thy God add unto the people, how many soever they be, 100-fold, and that the eyes of my Lord the king may see it. But why does my Lord the king delight in this thing?
Why would you delight in this? Continue.
Canada one can, verse 4. Notwithstanding, the king's word prevailed against Joab and against the captains of the host. And Joab and the captains of the host went out from the presence of the king to number the people of Israel.
Go on.
Canada one can, verse 5. And they passed over Jordan and pitched in Aroer, on the right side of the city that lieth in the midst of the river of Gad, and towards Jazer. Verse 6. Then they came to Gilead, and to the land of Tatim Hodshi, and they came to Danjan and about to Zidon.
Zidon.
Slakia. Verse 7. And came to the stronghold of Tyre, and to all the cities of the Hivites and of the Canaanites. And they went out to the south of Judah, even to Beersheba. Verse 8. So when they had gone through all the land, they came to Jerusalem at the end of 9 months and 12 days.
Right, so this was how long it took them to take up the census. Continue.
Verse 9. And Joab gave up the sum of the number of the people unto the king, and there were in Israel 800,000 valiant men that drew the sword, and the men of Judah were 500,000 men.
So how much in all that we know? 1.3 million. And this was just the men who drew the sword. Didn't count the children, didn't count the women. All right. So, all right, it says men that drew the sword. So we know that the Levites wouldn't be in this because they didn't go into war. The Levites didn't go into war. So this now, you know, you look at it, 1.3 million, that's how strong the possibility of having a force in Israel was back in much BC. Now, if it was that strong back then, you know you see how much of our people has been killed in so many different ways until today, where we should have been covering the earth. We should have been the ones who have, the Chinese have 1.8 billion people. That should have been us. But because of our days and the most, I have to be using death to correct us. You know, we still a lot, but we could have been more. And then you have things like Planned Parenthood. And killing millions of our unborn children. Continue.
Canada 1 verse 10. And David's heart smote him after that he had numbered the people. And David said unto the Lord, I have sinned greatly in that I have done. And now I beseech thee, O Lord, take away the iniquity of thy servant, for I have done very foolishly.
So after him do it, he repent, him sorry say him do it, and then realize that he has sinned. Continue.
Canada 1 verse 11. For when David was up in the morning, the word of the Lord came unto the prophet Gad, David's seer, saying, verse 12, go and say unto David, thus saith the Lord, I offer thee 3 things. Choose thee one of them, that I may do it unto thee.
So he realized he did something wrong, and now the Most High is going to punish him for what he did wrong. But he have a choice. Said 3 things. Choose one of these. Go on.
Verse 13. So Gad came to David and told him and said unto him, shall 7 years of famine come unto thee in thy land, or wilt thou flee 3 months before thine enemies, while they pursue thee, or that there be 3 days pestilent in thy land? Now advise, and see what answer I shall return to him that sent me.
7 years of famine, 3 months of running from the enemies, and 3 days pestilence. Pestilence is like the coronavirus that we have now. You know. Virus just run through the place. No, that is swift, you know. And if the Most High say 3 days of pestilence, you know that boy, one strong virus to go and get one that kill you when it. I mean, coronavirus incubation period is about 3 days or more. But here now a virus now which can kill you within 3 days.
Okay.
Continue.
Another one can. And David said unto Gad, I am in a great strait. Let us fall now into the hand of the Lord, for his mercies are great, and let me not fall into the hand of man. Verse 15. So the Lord sent a pestilence upon Israel from the morning even to the time appointed, and there died of the people from Dan even to Beersheba 70,000 men.
So in 3 days, 70,000 died. Now that was a serious pestilence.
Okay.
Maybe the Most High is going to bring back something like that after coronavirus. Who knows? Maybe that is the next pestilence to come in. Continue.
Another one can, verse 16. And when the angel stretched out his hand upon Jerusalem to destroy it, the Lord repented him of the evil and said to the angel that destroyed the people, it is enough. Stay now thine hand. And the angel of the Lord was by the threshing place of Araunah the Jebusite.
All right, go on.
Verse 17. And David spake unto the Lord when he saw the angel that smote the people, and said, Lo, I have sinned, and I have done wickedly. But these sheep, what have they done? Let thine hand, I pray thee, be against me and against my father's house. Verse 8.
These sheep, these people, we are sheep.
God.
Defenseless. All right? What have they done? They have done nothing. Is me sin. Let your hand be against me and my father's house. Continue.
Another one can, verse 18. And Gad came that day to David and said unto him, Go up, rear an altar unto the Lord in the threshing floor of Araunah the Jebusite.
That was right where David saw the angel standing and releasing the plague on the people. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 19. And David, according to the saying of Gad, went up as the Lord commanded. Verse 20. And Araunah looked and saw the king and his servants coming on towards him. And Araunah went out and bowed himself before the king and his face upon the ground.
All right.
Verse 21.
David saw an angel releasing the plagues. Now, if you ever watch this UFO disclosure that they talk about, you know, all these societies that has ever ruled the earth, you know, especially the ones now, the great ones that you might have now, you know, have some kind of angelic encounter. Either them see the Most High chariot or something, but when you look at our mighty men and so, angels were with them. So that is why, you know, when the scripture tells you that Jacob is the beginning of that which is to come, and then Revelation tells you that, you know, the gates of heaven shall have angels at the gate. So this is how you know that we will be rising to a mighty nation.
God.
One that shall not fall again. Because who will be at the gate? No one that you can bribe. Angels. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 21. And Araunah said, Wherefore is my lord the king come to his servant? And David said, To buy the threshing floor of thee, to build an altar unto the Lord, that the plague may be stayed from the people. Verse 22. And Araunah said unto David, Let let my lord the king take and offer Slakia. The king take and offer up what seemeth good unto him. Behold, here be oxen for burnt of sacrifice, and threshing instrument and other instrument of the oxen for wood.
Go on.
Verse 23. All these things did Araunah as a king give unto the king. And Araunah said unto the king, the Lord thy God accept thee. Verse 24. And the king said unto Araunah, nay, but I will surely buy it of thee at a price. Neither will I offer burnt offering unto the Lord my God of that which doth cost me nothing. So David bought the threshing floor and the oxen for 50 shekels of silver.
All right. So what David did was, all right, our custom was when you sin, you took the most I require from you. Your punishment for your sin was the best of your flock. That is why he asks a flock without blemish and so on, because those flock was the high price flock in your the ones without blemish and so on. They were the pure blood high price ones in your flock. So the most I require the best of what you have when you sin. So here now David was the one who sinned, but because he was king, Araunah was offering it to him. So you can take it, you can have it, man. But David now in his conscience, knowing the law, know that boy is him sin and him should really be given as a sacrifice to the Most High the best of what he have. Okay. He said, I will not take it from you for nothing. I will buy it. David didn't go as far as to say, I was the one who sinned. He didn't go that far. He just tell around and said, no, I will buy it. So he went and buy it. I hear some Eden pastor. I want to say Eden pastor, I mean Christian pastors of other races explaining this. But that's how you know that, they don't know nothing about our past.
Okay.
Because it was law that when you sin, it shouldn't be hurting somebody else's pocket. It should be hurting your pocket. So David paid 50 shekels of silver for it. All right? Which I'm sure is a lot of money today. All right, continue.
Another one gone, verse 25. And David built there an altar unto the Lord, and offer burnt offering and peace offering. So the Lord was entreated for the land, and the plague was stayed from Israel.
Okay, so David made an atonement for his sins. It was him who sinned, not the entire nation. But it was the entire nation that paid. Because at the beginning of this chapter, it says the Most High was wrath with Israel, which means the people was sinning, was there hiding and sinning.
God.
Yeah. And the Most High was vexed because them believe because a next person not seen them, them out in the clear. But the Most High saw everything. All right. So this now, this concludes 2 Samuel, the books of Samuel, and also David and his mighty works. Now, when the next scripture will be writing, so David, mighty man, was named up, and so, who slayed so and so, you shall be reading about, and the Kentucky 8, who, when men came up against them when armed men came up against them, they defended the word of the Lord with their fist and their feet. And about the mission to Akuna and things. So it's the same thing. It's just that We are not required today to lift our hands with sword or the gun against the enemy. Christ said he's the one coming to do that. That day will soon come when he shall allow that again. But that is after Christ is given his glory. All right, questions?
Salakia, what was the law or the spirit behind the law that said don't, if it's a law, Salakia, that said don't number the people? Like,
well, it's yeah, there is a spirit behind it. The Most High don't want your number his people. Captain had promised to get me the scripture of that.
okay.
But it stems from the fact that who does the flock of the who does Israel belong to?
Okay. And probably not to put your trust in like numbers and them thing there.
Right. The Most High don't put his trust in numbers, plus the flock of the Lord is not yours.
Okay.
Belong to the Lord. But anyway, we'll get some deeper clarity from Captain.
Okay.
Any other question? From Captain Nathan, to be exact. Huh?
Earlier on in the teaching, you said that David, when he's wrong, he quickly goes
into repentance mode.
Could that be attributed to? Was it a case of David? I don't know if I should put weakness to it, that he's always seen them going in repentance mode.
No, it's not. All right. It's not to say that he was. It's not to say that. Yeah.
Definitely when somebody may look on to a person that keeps on doing the wrong thing and say, I'm sorry.
Well, him not doing the same wrong thing, you know.
In different contexts, in different aspects. So I was just looking at it from that angle.
Well, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but David sins more was rulership and battle. When you check out the sins that he committed, he wasn't. He sinned against man, yes, like in the case of Uriah, right? Sin against man, but most of David's sin was really against God, you know. Numbering the people, he wasn't sinning against man there, he was sinning against God, right? What else David did? Most sin that David would be doing, that would be sinning against man. The Most High managed to stay his hand, like when he was in exile and he was out with the rich Judite who was sharing the sheep, and David said, "I'm begging some things," and said, "I don't know what there's a few much days and thing, and we not take nothing from you, you know. We sit, we watch nothing, you know. Send some things, come give it, you know." What name? Oh, I thought his name he was giving me. So he said, the man sent back and said, "Who the hell is David? Who you think he be?" And so on and so forth. David chose about some 300 men to go with him to slay him, but the Most High stayed his hand. That he would have been sinning against man then. But David's sin is different from our co-worker at work or the man who keeps smoking weed. Right? David had weakness of the flesh, yes. You know, he was weak to women. That's why I had he had 700 women. I think it was something like 500 wives or 600 wives. Solomon had 700 wives, 300 concubines. But David was also weak to the flesh when it came to women. But he was strong enough. The women didn't lead him astray. And that was what the Most High loved about David. And David also loved the Most High's flock. So much so that he keep protecting the Most High. He destroyed the nations. He subdued all the nations around Israel so that he take them and have the Most High's flock. All right, any other question? Yeah, there's a question, Jay. You have any this time? All right, so with that, we pass the class to Priest and Officer Kayadwan.
Clap it up.
Before you go on, Officer Kayadwan. Our online viewers, please remember to fill out the attendance sheet. It goes towards your 90 days. And by the way, if you're online and you're counting towards your 90 days, we have to know, just fill out the form and say, okay, I've done 50 times now. No, you have to call us so that we know that this person is going on to the 90 days. You can be a part of the flock and we don't know that you are a part of the flock. You understand? Right. Continue.
These are the ISUPK security announcements. We're the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, there are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18 and verse 21, and Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation, that is the Feast of Purim, which is the 14th and the 15th day of the 12th month. This is on Monday, the 14th of February, and Tuesday, the 15th of February. You can find it in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verse 20 to 31. Reminding Akiam and Akwatiam to check on social media, such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he needs to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, we say, I'm Madio, which means to stand. Sarwapanya Akwadam, which means turn and face the east. I say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew and then in English. Abanawa. Shabashamaya. Kwadash. Aya. Shamka. Awa. Malakwatka. Taba'a. Ratazaka. Aya. Aisha. Barataza. Kawa. Aya. Bashamaya,
Bashamaya,
Nathan Lanawa,
Nathan Lanawa,
Lakam,
Lakam,
Kal,
Kal,
Yawam,
Yawam,
Wasalak Lanawa,
Wasalak Lanawa,
Kawabwat Nawa,
Kawabwat Nawa,
Kasalak Nawa,
Kasalak Nawa,
Kawabwatya Nawa,
Kawabwat Nawa,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Tabaya Nawa,
Tabaya Nawa,
Wanasayawa,
Anasayawa,
Aba,
Aba,
Awashai Nawa,
Awashayna,
Maya,
Maya,
Rai,
Rai,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Laka,
Laka,
Amalakwa,
Abalakwa,
Wa'ala,
Wahana,
Wa'atapara,
Watapaharat,
Aiwalamya,
La'aywalam,
Ama,
Amen. In English, our Father which art in heaven,
our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name,
Thy kingdom come.
thy kingdom come,
Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread,
Give us this day our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts,
and forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors,
And lead us not into temptation,
and lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever so be it.
forever so be it.
Prayer for the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh,
Blessed are you, Yahweh,
King of heaven and earth,
King of heaven and earth,
and all things living.
and all things living.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of Yahweh,
in the name of Yahweh,
listen to us now,
listen to us now,
right now.
right now.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction
to the heathen
to the heathen
that speak against us,
that speak against us,
thy prophets,
thy prophets,
the teachers,
the teachers,
the princes,
the princes,
the priests,
the priests,
the Israelite brothers and the school.
the Israelite brothers and the school.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction
to the heathen,
to the heathen,
and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel,
and shake loose the treasures of the rich of Israel
that refuse to give to the school.
that refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction
to the Edomites,
to the Edomites
and the nations,
and the nations
and their drug dealers,
and their dealers,
the court system,
the court system,
the prison system,
the prison system,
Planned Parenthood,
Planned Parenthood,
all the governments of our enemies,
all the governments of our enemies,
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Roman Catholic Church,
Roman Catholic Church,
the Pope,
the Pope,
Islam,
Islam,
Christianity,
Christianity,
Egyptology,
Egyptology,
militia,
militia,
Ku Klux Klan,
Ku Klux Klan,
Aryan Nation,
Aryan Nation,
Skinheads,
Skinhead,
Posse Comitatus,
Posse Comitatus,
the gay movement,
the gay movement,
the lesbian movement,
the lesbian movement,
spies,
spies,
workers of witchcraft,
workers of witchcraft,
NASA space program,
NASA space program,
Army,
Army,
Navy,
Navy,
Air Force,
Air Force,
Marines,
Marine,
Wall Street.
Wall Street,
Open up the internet and the airways,
open up the internet and the airwaves,
the cable access channels,
cable access channel,
and the radio channels.
and the radio channels.
Convict the spirit of any of thy people
Convict spirit of any of thy people
that seek to stop us,
that seek to stop us,
and bring swift destruction
and bring swift destruction
to all the heathen that stand in the way,
to all the heathens that stand in the way,
or try to stop us from broadcasting your words
or try to stop us from broadcasting your words
throughout the planet Earth,
through the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plagues.
Let loose all the plagues.
Cause them to go to and fro.
Cause them to go to and fro.
Through the earth.
Through the earth.
And consume them.
And consume them.
Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer.
Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer.
Let Yahweh shine Michael and Gabriel.
Let Yahweh shine Michael and Gabriel.
Come down with the flying saucers.
Come down with the flying saucer.
And punish all the Edens.
And punish all the Edens.
That come up against us.
That come up against us.
As we speak thy word.
As we speak thy word.
Cause it to be known by all.
Cause it to be known by all.
That it is the angels that have done it.
That it is the angels that have done it.
Cause it to be spread through the media.
Cause it to be spread through the media.
Throughout the whole world.
Throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
Thank you so always so be.
Thank you always so be it. This is the prayer for the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Basham Yahweh Shai.
Basham Yahweh Shai.
Baba Kosha.
Baba Kosha.
Nathan Lanawa.
Nathan Lanawa.
Akak.
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 Larapa'a.
Larapa'a.
Kalmakala.
Kalmakala.
Wakal Marawa.
Wakal Marawa.
Akak.
Akak.
Lata'ar.
Lata'ar.
Amatazarayam.
Amatazarayam.
Akak.
Akak.
La Akwayam.
La Akwayam.
Amathiam.
Amathiam.
Akak.
Akak.
Al Rakawa.
Al Rakawa.
Atamala.
Atamala.
Nagarashan.
Nagarashan.
Basham Yahweh.
Basham Yahweh.
THAWADAH Aman.
THAWADAH Aman. In the English, Yahweh in the name of Yahweh.
Yahweh in the name of Yahweh.
Please give us the power.
Please give us the power.
The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to raise the dead.
The power to raise the dead.
The power against unclean spirits.
The power against unclean spirits.
To cast them out in the name of Yahweh.
To cast them out in the name of Yahweh.
Thank you, so be.
Thank you, so be it. This is the prayer for the blessings in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Basham Yahweh.
Basham Yahweh.
Barak Lanawa.
Barak Lanawa.
Wayasharala.
Wayasharala.
Wa'a.
Wa'a.
Bayat Sapariam.
Bayat Sapariam.
Barak.
Barak.
Rapa'a.
Rapa'a.
Magan.
Magan.
Hagan.
Hagan.
Commanding General YAHANNA.
Commanding General YAHANNA.
The generals.
The generals.
Captains.
The captains.
Officers.
The officers.
The troopers.
The troopers.
The young men and the sisters.
The young men and the sisters.
Basham Yahweh.
Basham Yahweh.
THAWADAH Aman.
THAWADAH Aman. All right, what you have just said in English is Yahweh in the name of Yahweh, our Lord in the name of Jesus. Bless us and Israel and the school. Bless each sheep, protect our loved ones. In the name of Yahweh. Thank you so much.
Sir, which means to turn.
That's it.
We're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel. I.M.A.D.U.M. Shabbat. I.M.A.D.U.M. Barak. Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai Barakatah.
Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai Barakatah.
Yadamata. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters, men of Israel. Turn and face the sisters, men of Israel. I.M.A.D.U.M. Shabbat. I.M.A.D.U.M. Barak. Yahweh Shamar Alathan Basham Yahweh Shai. Yadamata. Class dismissed.
right, people, remember, online viewers, remember to like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share our classes. And pay your tithes, ISUPK.com. And for those of you who have visa, come to Israelite, come to the Passover, the Lord's Passover. That is what the Most High say you should celebrate.
Good.
All right. Shalom until we meet again.
I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You are here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God coming to save you in your
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we stop that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
It's a lot of men down. You dealing with the men of war. We at war. I sided with the Lord of Lords. On one accord. We ain't never stopping.
Comes with all your dishes, pots, and sports knives.
I kind of like this. This is like an apartment and a hotel. You know what I mean?
This here right here is about to be holy ground. This is going to be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
My camp undefeated. You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the grades. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
We don't give a fuck, you can see it in our faces. Got it out the mud, straight up out the base.
I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You are here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God coming to save you in your
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we stop that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
It's a lot of men down. You dealing with the men of war. We at war. I sided with the Lord of Lords. On one accord. We ain't never stopping.
Comes with all your dishes, pots, and sports knives.
I kind of like this. This is like an apartment and a hotel. You know what I mean?
This here right here is about to be holy ground. This is going to be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
My camp undefeated. You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the grades. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
We don't give a fuck, you can see it in our faces. Got it out the mud, straight up out the base.